Hi, the Blizz community. Welcome back to yet again to my YouTube channel, and thank you. This is where we spread love and hope, to the brokenhearted and to those people who feel they cannot continue with life anymore. And I believe that this channel is reaching out to people. There's reaching out to people who are almost giving up and people who think there is no reason to live anymore. And I want to tell you that there's a reason to live. There is a reason for living. We don't live for ourselves. We live for God. And God is the giver of life. So I welcome you once again. And also I appreciate and I thank God for the opportunity to see yet another new year. It's by grace. There are people who did not get an opportunity to see 2025. And it's by God's grace, purely by God's grace, that we've seen yet another new year. And, when I look at number 5, we are told that number 5 is symbolic. And as Brian, through my studies, number 5 is symbolic. It symbolizes grace, goodness, and favor. And so I was prophesying to myself that 2025, I'm going to enjoy double grace, because it's 2025, double grace, double favor, and double goodness of God. And thank you so much for the continued support, and I welcome you to part 4. I'm excited because as this episode goes on, I get near to, I could call it, to the pinnacle of my story, where I'm really trusting God for grace to go all the way to the end. Sometimes I ask myself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And is it worth it? But because God pushed me and God, gave me a reason to start. Not many people have the strength to come out after losing a wife, after losing a son, losing a daughter, losing a parent, losing a job, losing a child, losing a parent. Not everyone will find the strength, but we live by God's strength. We live by God's grace. After we've gone through tough times, we can only look up to God. We can only trust God for grace to overcome the tough seasons. And so I'm sure these stories and these episodes I'm telling about my personal life and what I've been through, and how God took me, how God carried me in an eagle's wings, and where here I am, still breathing, still smiling, and still trusting God for more, trusting God to reach out to more people, trusting God that through the Blizz community we'll get to spread love and hope and tell people that yes, you can lose a wife and still trust God. You can lose a husband and still trust God. You can lose a job and still trust God for another one. You can lose your business, where everything you've built has been coming from, and still look up to God, and that's what the Bible says, I look up to the hills, from whence cometh my help. And we say our help can only come from you, God. And so I'm excited with how we are growing as the Blizz community. I request us to stick around till the end, watch till the end, because I'm sure there is something I may say towards the end which will touch someone, which will encourage someone. And I know through the episodes I'm throwing out there is just one person who will get encouraged by what I'm saying. There is just that one person who will say, if this dude went through what he went through, and still he can stand to tell his story. He can still stand and say, God, you're still good. God, you're good. God, you're good. God, you're good. Then I don't have a reason to give up. So my stories are for this person who is giving up and they feel they can't continue with life anymore, because there is a reason to live. We don't live for ourselves. We live for God. And after what happened to me happened, I said that I'm going to live for God. I'm going to allow just God to carry me through. because as I will be, I don't want to don't want to go to the last episodes before I get there, because I know it's gonna get emotional as I get to the end of my story. Also, after walking down the aisle with my wife, it's gonna get emotional. But I'm trusting God for strength that I will go through, because there is someone who will be encouraged. There is a couple who are going through maybe a season who will be encouraged, hearing my story past, or rather from the marriage, from the wedding date, to all the way to 2023, 17th or 18th, 18th. Yeah. And so last time, I, in the last episode, or rather the last part 3, I did mention, or rather I ended the story at a point whereby I was waiting for Irimo to give me an answer, and we picked her up from the airport, and I was expecting an answer from the airport, and that was not the day. And so we kept going for dates. I kept pursuing. Of course, if you want something, you will not stop pursuing it. You will keep on pursuing it. And so we continued to do the things we loved to do, going for walks, nature walks. We could just go and enjoy the nature, the trees, and the nature at large. And there are many places we used to go. And date after date, I was expecting an answer, until my late wife could know that this guy is expecting an answer today, and she could play hard to get, the ladies. And I could go home, pretend I'm not frustrated when we are together. But when I get home, I say, oh goodness, what is this girl now? What is this girl? Why is she taking me through what she's taking me through? So we went to places like Karura Forest. We went to Ololua Nature Walk. We went to Arboretum Drive, and all these places. We could just go and talk about us, talk about the future, talk about, everything friends could talk about. At the end of the day, I could pretend I'm not waiting for an answer, and she could notice this guy is waiting for something. Because sometimes we go to this place whereby a conversation is just, we get silent, we get just silent on each other, and I'm looking at her and she's looking at me, and there is nothing, no one is telling the other anything. But it came to this point whereby we went to church. After all these dates, we could of course continue going to church together. And there's this one Sunday, I remember we finished the service and we came to town, and we sat just somewhere. I had some cash. I could afford some juice. Remember, I'm fired, and I used the money I was paid to buy the suit to serve in church. And now I just want us to have a catch up. And we went to some hotel in town, and I was talking to my late wife, and we were just talking, and she was asking me questions, and I could tell, okay, I now know the reason as to why you've not been able to give me a yes. That was now ringing at the back of my mind. Of course, I could not tell her that I know the reasons to why you are not giving me an answer. And we talked, and one of the points my late wife was bringing out was, I feel I don't know you more, or rather, I feel I don't know you as I should, and I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical that I'll get hurt in the process. And there is one thing I told her, that the reasons to why we have phases towards marriage, like there is the friendship, there is the dating, there is the courtship, then there is marriage. It's because there is a reason for each of these four. There is a reason why there is a friendship. There's a level you can know someone during the friendship phase. There is a level God allows you to know someone during the dating phase. There is a level God allows you to know someone at the courtship phase. And there is another level that God allows you now to know someone when you enter into marriage. And I told her that the deeper you want to know me, you can't. Unless now you give me a chance. If your fears is that I'm going to hurt you. you've not gotten into the relationship from that if you'll get hurt, and you're using your past experiences with other men to, to bring it into this other conversation, into someone else, then it happened that also at the same time, Liz, God, of course, the girl was so prophetic, and she was hearing God, and God had already given her a name that the guy will marry you. His name is Brian, and that's what she told me. And at that time, the sons of Sceva, there were so many Brians around this girl that she was confused. What exactly is happening? And she was now looking into the list she had, because of course she was trusting God for a man with some certain qualities and attributes, and so she was like in a phase, or rather in a season of looking into all these brands. There were like 4. I don't know where they came from all of a sudden. And the girl had a list of around 7 things she was trusting God, that God, the man you'll bring into my life, should have all this, and should have, if not all, at least 5. And so, of course, these are things I came to know about after she has given me an opportunity for us to enter into a relationship. And so I told Liz, of course, after that sitting in after church, and I told her that the things you want to know about me, you can only know about me after giving me an opportunity, after us beginning to date. And so we parted ways. Of course, she went back to Zimmerman, and I went to Embakasi, where I was staying. When I got home, Liz called me crying, and she was sobbing. She was in tears, like heavily. I was wondering what has happened. What's happened? Liz told me, Brian, you have everything I asked for in a man from God. I don't know why I've been able, and I've been skeptical, and I'm fearing to give you a chance. I don't know what I should do. You have everything I ever prayed for in a man. She got me emotional, and I had to hold my emotions together and help her to stop crying. And after I got her to stop crying, I began to remind her the things I've told her while we were in town, that there are places you can only know me. You need to overcome that fear. And I began just to give her an assurance, and tell her that if I have everything you prayed for in a man, then it's prudent. It's prudent for you to give me an opportunity. Let's try this thing. Let's because me, I know what I want, and I've seen it in you. So we talked, and she managed to stop crying. Of course, she did not give me an answer via phone. And that was on a Sunday. So the following Saturday was on 11th of October. 11th October, I think the very first month of October, that Saturday of the first month of October. And of course we went, she asked me, or rather I requested her, we just go for a walk. And we went to Karura, and we just made up our mind to walk all the way from Gate A. I think the Gate A is the one on Kiambu Road, all the way to Limuru Road. Is it Limuru Road? Limuru Road, I think. The other gate, they just call it Gate B, and that's such a walk. The people who have been in Karura, that's such a walk. And we walked. So we came to a point whereby there was like a waterfall, and we stood there. And Liz looked at me in the eyes, and she told me, I've seen you, have observed you. You've been a selfless man. You've shown me that you can love me. Because one thing I prayed to God was God to give me a man who is not stingy. I have my own money. Of course, I'm not coming to you as a gold digger, but I wanted a man who can spend on me without looking into what I have. I wanted a man who can just love me and do not feel intimidated by what I have or who I am. And I've been asking God for a man who I can serve together with in church. And for all the brands who have been hitting on me, it's only you who we serve together. It's only you who have treated me better than anyone else. With the small you have, you're jobless, but you've been going out of your way to treat me as like I was your girlfriend, and and all other qualities she talked about, and she told me there's no one else around my life who deserves, or rather who I could pray to God and end up with like you. And from today, Brian, I'm your girlfriend. And that's how she put it. And I was like, really? Like, I was not expecting it that day. I just said, let's go for a walk, let's go have fun, and let's come back home. If you tell me yes, it's okay. If we just come back for another, then we wait for another date, it's okay. But that day is when we started to date. And I asked her a question. Now from today, you're mine? Yeah. She told me, and you're mine too. Then it started to rain. It was raining. And of course, we had carried an umbrella, and, we got it out, and, we just, we helped ourselves so that we are not rained on. And yeah, that's how our story started of dating. And on 11th October, it's the day we began to date. I think it took approximately 3 months of waiting. Me, I felt it was like 3 years. It took us it took approximately three months for us to start dating. And at that point we began, actually after the rain ceased, we sat down somewhere in some chairs, which are of course randomly placed in Karura, or rather along the walkways, and we began to talk. We just began to talk about our future. We began to talk about our children. We began to talk about our wedding, because at that point we were very sure that we wanted to settle down, and we do not need to waste each other's time. And that's why I encourage young people out there, if you're dating someone, do not date for fun. Do not date someone to break their heart. Just date someone to, and if you're not sure why you're dating them, just leave them. Do not heartbreak someone's daughter or someone's son. Me, when I started to date Liz, I knew that I was in with both legs, not with one leg. And I knew this is like a motorbike journey we are starting. There is no reverse gear, and at that point we knew that we've started a journey that is culminating on a beautiful wedding and a beautiful marriage. And yeah, that started our beautiful journey of dating. In my next episode, I will be now telling us about how the following year, which is 2020, we began now another beautiful journey, and processes of settling down and planning our wedding. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this initiative of spreading love and hope through this community called the Blizz. I'm sure together we'll go far. We'll touch many lives. This is something I'm very pretty sure about. That the beginning might be slow, but one thing I'm pretty sure about is that in the next couple of months, if not years, I'm sure God will do something. God will cause this community to grow and explode, and will spread love. That's my end goal, to spread love and hope through this channel, and through what God will bring through this channel and through other avenues. So till the next episode, till the next part, keep watching, subscribe, like, share with your friends, and let's touch lives together through the Blizz community. Thank you, and God bless you.